unfortunately, there's no people of color in the band Spear from the Netherlands, you know? And I think the word Spear has a lot of significant meaning to our culture. And I didn't think it would be right for them to take that away. I didn't feel like them having that name made it, I didn't want to change our name because of that. It wasn't fair to us, you know? Yeah. So we put the dots, and we actually never really came up with an abbreviation for it. It was kind of a bold change, but we can leave that up to the listeners and the viewers to decide.
Yeah, so that's the fun thing about that is actually, I know other bands, and I mean, I don't know how familiar anybody who's listening is going to know this, like, about hardcore crews. So, like, there's, like, different, we'll call them fraternal organizations. They're groups of people that stick together and protect each other and stuff. And, like, there's a thing where they use, like, letters to abbreviate, like, the name of, like, their crew. And for everybody outside of that group, like, you just kind of make stuff up. You just tell people, like, means all sorts of stuff. You just come up with all different kinds of things. And so that's, like, for me, that's, like, kind of a nod to, like, that aspect of hardcore culture in general is, like, yeah, just say whatever, like, make up cool different things that this could mean. Make it funny, make it serious, whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, like, what that name means is more about, like, the music that we're making. Like, if you listen to the lyrics, you listen to the songs, you understand the experience we have. Like, maybe that's kind of something that can happen indirectly, because we put those periods there and people are trying to figure out what we're about. So.
It definitely works, because we were wondering that too. I love that though, the spirit with the culture thing. That's really, I like that. I love that.
Do you guys have any major influences when it comes to your music, like personal experiences and maybe other artists?
There's a lot.
There's too many. In terms of personal experiences, I've been going to shows for almost half of my life. Again, my brother lives in the Bay Area, so I try to go visit him about once a year, and every time I go out, I try to find all the local hardcore shows, all the DIY shows that are happening. I try to engage myself in the community, because unfortunately, you know, this is something that Guam is currently building up to now. A DIY community, something stronger, something bigger than itself, but it wasn't around like that for years, you know, so that's my personal experience. But in terms of influences, I think there's way too many to name. You know, 90s hardcore, 80s hardcore.
Just name some.
Yeah, Oi.
Yeah, definitely Oi.
Reggae, dancehall. You know, I feel like island music is definitely, even though it's not maybe too apparent, it's definitely, I would say, obvious in our influence.
Yeah, there's influence there. Yeah, it's just same. Like, I mean, we could throw out a bunch of different band names because we listen to so much. But really, like, yeah, 80s hardcore, 90s hardcore, 2000s hardcore, Oi, like street punk, like that kind of stuff. Crossover thrash, even some, you know. For me, I've been going to shows since 1999. I've been around a little while. And that was in the Northwest hardcore scene. So I left Island when I was 7. And so I kind of grew up over there a good portion. And started going to shows when I was 14. Started playing in bands when I was 14. And I used to book shows in the area, in the Northwest. I had a radio show for 5 years. Played in a bunch of bands and all sorts. Like, I've been in like grindcore bands, hardcore bands. Played in an indie rock band. I played keyboard. Like, I played piano in a band. Just did a lot of stuff. A lot of friends like that tour and like run labels and things. And so this for me is like really natural. Like, this is what I like to do. So when they asked me to play, first of all, I was like, you guys are awesome musicians, and like, I'm a weirdo. And we were friends, but I was like, you sure you want me in this band? I'm old and weird, and they're like, yeah. So it's like, well, I'm about it. I've been trying to do this forever. I tried to start like 3 other hardcore bands here that never like went anywhere. So, and yeah, this is the one.
Oh, that's really crazy. Actually, I watched your guys' the Sunset Binary session, the performance, and you guys actually put me on to Crossover Thrash. It's really good. I love metal and punk, so it's really good.
Okay.
So would you say your genre is more like hardcore punk, or how would you like classify it as?
I would say that. Generally just hardcore punk.
Definitely. It's hardcore punk, I feel, is a very specific type of it's a specific part of the genre, because hardcore is, you know, a lot of people think hardcore is just heavy music. If there's palm muting, you know, if they're screaming, that's heavy music. But hardcore is much more than that, you know. It's what's talked about. It's the values of it, you know. Metal doesn't really have a lot going for it in terms of vocals. We're talking about the undead and, like, you know, things that aren't, like, real, you know. But hardcore is about, like, you know, there's the straight edge aspect to it, you know, being drugs-free, being alcohol-free, you know, being positive, you know, like, and that's something that's very important. But hardcore punk is something that's not seen as much anymore. It still happens. There's a lot of hardcore punk bands that are around, but I think it's something that is
underground.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot anymore. Yeah. And the ones that come around, it's really nice to see because it's still fresh most of the time, you know.
Yeah, even in hardcore, like since like the '90s, particularly, like a lot of metal like riffs went into hardcore. So I know a lot of people when they think of hardcore now, they think of like stuff that has like that crossover thrash or like death metal influence in it. Even if it's not strictly like a metalcore band, like that's still what people think of. Like New York hardcore really brought that in, and we have some of that influence, but I think we're definitely more on the punk side of things, especially with some of our like kind of oi like kind of feel we got. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. What message do you guys hope to convey through your music?
Well, I mean, I would say that first and foremost, actually, like the political things aside, first and foremost, we're trying to communicate like what the reality of like living here is, like the reality of growing up here, like our history, our culture, like experiences that real people have, like here. Like I feel like you can get a view of Guam and it can be like what all the tourists see or what all the military sees or what, you know, people who grew up with more here get to do, you know? Like when you look like just on social media and like the stuff that gets put at you, like for what represents Guam, right? It's people who are able to travel all the time. It's like the pretty people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like honestly it's not like regular life, you know? And so that's for us, like that's what we want people to see, like the beauty and the struggle, you know? Like it's not all paradise all the time, you know? So but there's definitely like an anti-colonial message too. Like one of like building community and facing like our colonial histories and like our social problems like together and not really like trying to lay blame on specific people, like groups within ourselves, like looking to power as the source of these things. That's kind of like underlying. But again, like we're just trying to focus on reality. So I don't know if you've got more to add.
No, that's perfect.
All right.
That's very real, and I think your listeners can feel that through your music.
Sorry, I also just wanted to say that, like, I think that it's so important that you guys include the reality aspect of Guam, because I remember, like, when I lived in Georgia, a lot of people don't even know, like, what Guam is, and, like, they thought that, they asked me, like, oh, is it your first time wearing clothes? And I was like, no, like, I don't wear grass skirts anymore, like, live in huts, you know? Yeah. And so I think that that's really important that you guys add the reality aspect into it, so, yeah. Okay, I know you tried to start 3 bands before before Spear came out. I was wondering if you guys are part of any other bands, like, currently, like, any other groups?
I mean, I would like to do other things. I don't really have the time for it. I'm like full-time employed with 3 kids. Like, so, yeah, but this man right here.
Well, in terms of me, I'm actually in 5 active bands. So I'm in Spear, I play bass in Juice, I play drums in Gossip Girls, I play drums in Local Deluxe, and I won't say the name yet, but I'm going to be in a band unannounced from the States, actually. I'm going to be the only member from here. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. We're definitely going to release something this year, but that's all I'll be about. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Very booked and busy.
I'm trying. Thank you.
So how do you manage being in all these multiple groups?
Like, how do you do with rehearsal, shows, songwriting, composing?
You know, I'll say it's actually not that hard. With Guam's music scene, we only have so many bands. You know, we try to make it so when we have shows, we don't want you guys, as the people coming to our shows, to get tired of the bands that you're watching. Even though there's a lot of great talent, there can be you can wring the rag dry, you know what I mean? What's left in there. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not like Juice practices the same, like, it's 4 bands practicing at the same time, but it's, you know, we pick the bands, like, who's going to play this show, and then, you know, I work from there. So I make it work. Yeah, it's not that hard, I would say.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay.
What motivates you when you make your music?
Anger, depression, the people. Not liking a lot of things for me. That's what it is. I could get more specific with that, yeah.
First thing I'd say, honestly, my friends and my community. Very, very blessed with the community that Guam has given us, and I feel with every band, a lot of bands have come out with like releases, you know, more substantial releases. I feel like for a long time Guam didn't have artists that were coming out with things, so I feel that pushes every band to be stronger in how they approach their writing and just being a band, being a unit. You know, it's harder than it's a lot harder being a band than people think it is. You know, to make the right moves and do what you're supposed to do as a band. You know what I mean?
That's a legit answer.
Okay. Okay. Since you guys, since punk music is typically focuses on social and political issues, and your music discusses that, would you consider your music a form of activism?
I mean, I'm sure somebody does. Maybe, you know, people listening, or I'm really disenchanted with the idea of activism, but that's like my own like political ideas. Just because when I think of activism, like it's a thing that you do at a particular time and place, and like people make careers out of it and all that kind of thing. And really, like, I just want to like live in a way where, you know, you're making choices and making community in ways that are already moving outside of that. So I mean, that's not to devalue what people do as activists, but for this music, like, I don't really want to see it as like, you know, time and place kind of thing. Like, this is all the time. And I hope people build like life and community out of the ideas and not just like sign a petition. You know, so that's like, to me, punk, and our band included, like, is not just like forming an organization kind of thing. Like, this is like implementing it into your life, and that's why people talk a lot about like punk lifestyle, hardcore lifestyle, like the ethos, like how that affects the way you live and the way you interact with people. And so, yeah, like I hope it's more like that.
I think it definitely is that way. Like, when I first heard your music, I thought it was very cool that, like, you know, the specific genre that I'm into, and it's talking about issues on Guam or like stuff that we go through every day. I just, like, it was such an experience to hear that, and like I've been like obsessed with you guys since you guys came out with your EP. I can't lie.
Thank you.
Really, thank you.
Speaking of your EP, do you guys have a favorite on it?
For me personally, I'll say Sign of the Cross, because, I mean, aside the context of what the song is about, it was the first song that we completed and wrote as a 5-piece. Again, Chris was a later addition to the band. I think about a year being into when the band started, Chris joined. So Silver Teeth is also another one of the tracks on there, and that song we did have Chris as a part of it, but I feel that song was kind of like, it didn't feel like I felt like there was still potential for us to sound like Spirit. We were still kind of working on our sound. But Sign of the Cross, I feel, is, as a song, embodies how we sound as a band now. Yeah, that's what we come to form.
So I would say that, yeah, musically, Sign of the Cross, actually, musically. But I would say, like, as far as, like, what song's about and, like, how it feels for me, it's the other two. So Omission and Naftan. But that's because those two songs are actually, even though it's talking about things that we deal with here, like, those ones are actually really personal for me. So that's why we play those. Like, it's more emotional for me. So Omission, like, generally comes across as like just about historiographical, like the way people write history to like portray an idea, right, about what happened. So historiographical things with Guam, where they chose, like, Europeans chose to write things particular ways to kind of form our society. So, like how they never write like women in, you know, like we were a matrilineal society, women were the heads of clans, yet you don't see like a woman's name like anywhere in like the history Europeans wrote. Like you don't see it. And like the way like they kind of make it seem like, you know, queer people didn't exist. Like that kind of thing. Like it's very like cis hetero dudes like all the time. Like that's what we get a view of like of our history. And it kind of shaped society when they started pushing like with Catholicism, like this is how your family should be organized. This is what is acceptable. And so when they reshape history that way, they push people out. Like, and you can hear a lot of people still say stuff like that, like, oh, like gay people, like that's not a small thing. Like I hear people say that kind of thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look around you, like everywhere. And so, you know, like that's the thing, like, you know, so for me, like that's a personal thing. I'm queer, so like that's a big thing for me. The other thing with NAFTAN that's written about, you know, like this culture of silence we have around, you know, sexual abuse and like these experiences. You know, I experienced child sexual abuse when I was growing up. Like this is heavy stuff, but that's why these songs are like really important to me. So yeah, so got real, but yeah, that's why those songs like on the EP are really big for me.
Yeah, and I think those are very important topics to talk about, and you're so strong for being able to do that. Like that's very like real.
Your shows get pretty like energetic and intense in a way. I was wondering if you guys have like, or how do you mentally prepare for a show?
I'm gonna jump in first. I have really bad social anxiety, and I know it doesn't seem like that, but I really do. Before shows, I'm usually hiding in corners and like trying not to talk to people, and like feeling like thrown up. And then I get on stage, and as soon as we start going, like it's like blinders. Like I just like I know everybody's there, but like I don't see everybody, and I just do it. Like it's just all raw feeling.
Yeah, honestly, kind of the same way. I, for some reason, get really anxious when it comes to like the day of the show, and I can't help them within me. Like the second we start playing, I think it's fine, but I just try to take a lot of deep breaths. Sometimes it doesn't even help, but I mean, I know it's just the anxiety, you know. Once I'm on the kid, I feel like I'm in my element. So.
Well, you guys do very good at masking that because your stage presence is insane. Like I love going to your shows and experiencing all that. It's very cool.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming on. That concludes our interview with you guys. We really appreciate you guys coming on and agreeing to talk about this stuff. We hope you had as much fun as we did. For the people listening, if you would like to check out this awesome band, they are on Instagram at Spear Hardcore. Check out their link tree in their bio where you can find where to stream their music and more. And thank you for listening. If you would like to hear more about local music on Guam, stay tuned. Next, we will be interviewing the synth pop or alternative band In Bedrooms.
The sound of Guam is Wave 105 FM. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Caroline Kennedy warned senators that her cousin Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is, in her words, a predator. She's urging senators to reject his nomination as Health and Human Services Secretary. CBS's Matt Piper.
In a letter Caroline Kennedy wrote and was posted to social media a day before his confirmation hearings, she calls her cousin Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a threat.
It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator.
She says he is addicted to attention and power.
Bobby preys on the desperation of parents of sick children, vaccinating his own kids while building a following, hypocritically discouraging other parents from vaccinating theirs.
Another cousin, former Congressman Patrick Kennedy, spoke highly of RFK Jr. in a Tuesday Washington Post op-ed. Matt Piper, CBS News.
A judge pauses until Monday a Trump administration order freezing funding for federal grants and loans. CBS's Nancy Cordes reports.
The judge said she's imposing this stay until at least Monday so she has more time to determine whether organizations will be harmed by the funding freeze. Right now, no one seems to know how much funding is being paused, how many groups that affects, and for how long.
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says since last Thursday, it has arrested close to 5,000 migrants. CBS News Colorado's Karen Lee on where agents are next expected.
The Denver metro area is among the next targets for the stepped-up immigration arrest operations that ICE has been conducting under the Trump administration. Large ICE operations have been taking place in New York City, Chicago. Now the agency is expected to do the same right here in the Denver metro area, including Aurora, which the president frequently cited on the campaign trail when vowing to crack down on illegal immigration.
Oklahoma State School Board has voted to have schools in the state mandate that parents provide proof of a child's citizenship or immigration status. This parent in Oklahoma saying,
"It's just a time filled with fear, a time filled with uncertainty, with lots of rhetoric. It's almost like we feel like we have to pull our kids from school."
An ongoing tuberculosis outbreak in northeast Kansas has become the biggest in U.S. history. Adrian Brine with the Sedgwick County, Kansas Health Department.
It is not easy to contract. You can't walk by someone on the street or even in a restaurant and be at risk for TB.
There have been 67 TB cases reported in 2 counties, according to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, which has been tracking the outbreak for over a year. Several people are feared dead and many more injured as tens of thousands of Hindus rushed to take a holy bath in a river at a massive festival in India. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A 5th person has died from injuries suffered during a massive explosion of illegal fireworks at a Honolulu home on New Year's Eve. The 29-year-old man was one of 6 patients flown to a hospital in Arizona for treatment earlier this month. A facelift for the Louvre Museum.
It's the most visited museum in the world, but management, staff, and visitors agree the Louvre needs some serious TLC.
It was very cold. I didn't like the signs. I got lost sometimes.
French President Emmanuel Macron today announced a new 10-year plan to fix the building, including a grand new entrance and a separate space for the Mona Lisa. Elaine Cobb, CBS News, Paris.
Google Maps users in the U.S. will see Gulf of Mexico renamed Gulf of America and Denali in Alaska changed to Mount McKinley. It comes after President Trump's executive order. Google implements the title changes after the adjustments appear in the Geographic Names Information System. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Your radio loves it. Wave 105 FM.
Good afternoon. It is 3:04 p.m. and that is your time check brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has something new on their menu, the mushroom bacon cheeseburger. Try their deliciously indulgent sandwich made with juicy beef, crispy applewood smoked bacon, savory roasted mushrooms, mustard cheese, and a creamy garlic spread on a soft toasted bun. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's.
AI offers a rare look inside.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Commander Pat. Hafa Adai, everybody. Reese the Beast here. And we got a little show called The Morning Blender. We want you to tune in every weekday from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m.
That's right. Lots of chances to win. We got lots of things to talk about. And, of course, your favorite topics like, what's your favorite tomorrow food?
Duh, everything.
Well, be sure you tune in Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. on the station Powering Your Day.
Power 98. Thanks to our friends at GTA, Burger King, the Academy Shopping Center, Cosmetics and Flooring, Lysol, Taste to Protect, Chili, and Subway.
Alright, the Bright Side is brought to you by Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. GTA, we start with you. Sherwin-Williams, ready for a fresh start? Sherwin-Williams is hiring inside and outside sales. Visit us in person Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 671-646-8050 or email your resume to sw@pri-guam.com. Join our team today. Subway, eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com is powered by Good to Go, We Deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh. Now's that time for your real deal traffic report here on the Bright Side. Slow traffic on Route 4 in Marito, and this is in between the Pier Park and the Bell Tower. Slow traffic on Route 4 in Chalampago if you're heading to the intersection that leads to Maimai Road or Santa Cruz Drive. Slow traffic on Route 4 in Hagåtña if you're coming from the intersection and near the Agania Library, heading to the intersection on Route 1 and near the Chief Pupua Park. Slow traffic on Route 1 in Adelup if you're heading northbound to the intersection in front of the governor's office. Slow traffic on Route 1 in Gatineau if you're heading northbound to the intersection that leads to Route 27 or near the flea market. And that is your real deal traffic report here on the Bright Side.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Lindsay's Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Wave 105.1. This is Conversations with Cougars, an hour-long radio show hosted by the Academy of Our Lady of Guam's journalism class during the Bright Side with Pauly Suba. Today's hosts are Anna, Alexis, and myself, Giada. Earlier, the other band we interviewed, Spear, gave us a rundown on their new EP and about the band itself. Here with us now are Ant and Dan from In Bedrooms.
I guess we should say what's up. Hi.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
They're all based on Guam, with many people knowing their music as synth pop or alternative. Although these may be the labels of what kind of genre they are, we all know that their music is very beautiful. So with that, welcome.
You're so kind.
Yes. We understand that you guys came out with an EP last August. What was it making that?
You want to? Yeah, I'll get into this. They were, the EP was 3 songs. They're songs that we worked on a few years ago. They were on a couple of EPs that released, but we just wanted to spruce them up a little bit. So yeah, we recorded a bunch of stuff for it, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your band in bedrooms?
We started out. No, I can do this. Yeah, you can. Go. We started out. It was myself and our other member John, who's not here. Our previous bands had just broken up for pretty funny reasons that I can't get into. But then we started playing music by ourselves. We thought we would do it, like write songs and have a drum machine, but that wasn't working. And then John invited Dan to practice one day, and he was pretty much the missing piece. And then we started getting actually serious. Yeah, John was my homie from middle school, and then one day I'm at home, and he's in my house. I'm like, what are you doing here? So he was checking out my sister. And then he was like, yo, I have my guitar in the car, and I had my drum set in there. So I was like, you want to jam? And then we jammed a little bit in my room, and then he just ignored my sister. And then I got invited to band practice. That thing didn't work out between him and my sister.
Wow. Wrong timing for them, but right timing for a band.
Yeah, God works in God's plan. Can't believe you said that.
Okay, next question. What's the background of your band's name in bedrooms?
We were called Bedrooms originally, and then we had to change it because there's like 10 other bands called Bedrooms, and they're all cooler than us. Yeah. But for the meaning of the band name, I think it's just like the bedroom. It's like the most private place in a person's life, and that's like typically where you want to be. Generally, if you want to be by yourself. So that's where that comes from. Yeah. Where are you at? Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. It's a chair.
Oh, so where do you get most of your influence from when it comes to making music? Like books, movies, or personal experience?
Dude, you do like a lot of the writing, but I guess I'll go on this. I just listen to a lot of music. I try to listen to like a new album every week, and oftentimes it's more like 3 or 4 albums a week. So new music, new stuff coming out, old stuff that's been around for a long time. And I mean, this guy writes a lot of the song, and as a drummer, I kind of just bring the feel. So yeah, collaborative thing, but I just listen to a lot of music.
Can you guys give us a rundown of what the recording process is like? Like, where do you guys record most of your music? Is it different every time, or is there like any consistency to it?
Have you told him the real version of that? Yeah, because it'll be funny. So we record everything at, again, John's house. He has all the equipment. He's not here right now. So we get in there. We spend a long time writing songs, like maybe probably a whole year writing songs. Yeah. Like writing the songs that would be the album. And then after we have what we want, we try to record it as well as possible. And then when it's time to mix and master it, that's another year. Hi, John. Yeah, it's all DIY. It's all in-house. We just put all our money together, bought a bunch of equipment, but mostly John. And then, yeah, there's like a lot of YouTube. Go to YouTube, how to record drums, drum recording for idiots. And then, yeah, that's about it. Would you say your dad?
No, her dad. He uses YouTube for like everything.
Oh, I thought, because he said idiot, and he said your dad.
No.
Got him.
I love her dad. So in your transmitting music video, did you guys have a clear vision of what you wanted the music video to look like, or did it just come up to you guys on the spot?
Absolutely not. We just, our other friend had a camera and he wanted to try shooting us, so we just did it in that little field there. The name of the game is content, and we needed some content for YouTube. So yeah, we have one homie that he's really tight with us. He's like, I wouldn't say he's like the fourth member of the band, but he does a lot for us. So we said, yo, we need like a visual thing for the song we're putting out, and you have a camera and you know how to use it, so let's do that. John's texting you. Oh, he's actually listening? Yeah, John's listening right now. He said, bro, I hate you guys. Yeah. Hey, he's lucky I'm not talking about some other stuff. Hey. Yeah, that's sorry, though.
Oh, no worries. Okay. Along with Spring, you guys also recently released an EP called EP24. What song would you say is your personal favorite from that?
I like Jesus of Jealousy. That's probably my favorite song that we've done so far. Yeah? Yeah. That sounds alright. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good song.
What's my dad's favorite song from you guys?
Your dad? Wow, nice. Are we dad rock now? Does your dad generally like cool music?
Yes.
Okay, cool then.
He knows a lot.
I'll take that as a compliment. He knows us. That's pretty cool.
Do you guys have any other businesses?
Oh. That's you. Yeah, this guy definitely does not have any of that like that. No, he like talk about your freaking skate shop. I have a skate shop. It's called Memory. If you guys want to skate, check me out.
So how's it handling memory and music simultaneously? Does it get overwhelming?
Not at all. It's so chill. There's a lot of time in the day. You just gotta know how to manage it. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys just talked to Kyle, and he's like in a million bands. So we can do it. You can do it. I think variety is the spice of life, and yeah, skate shop, band, whatever. It's all good.
What's the best piece of advice another musician has given you guys?
I don't think I've ever been given good advice.
And that's just real honestly.
Like, besides the music people who are already our friends that, you know, we talk and hang out. I feel like when some random older musician wants to give advice to me, it's like, it's not relevant. Have you ever felt that? Yeah, dude, old people are disconnected. They don't know what they're talking about. And especially old musicians on Guam. They stay playing covers at lounges. They're not doing this stuff. So, yeah, dude, nobody's ever given me good advice. You want good advice? Go to youtube.com.
Okay. What skills have you gained that helped you perform effectively as a musician?
You want to answer that? Don't look up. I get nervous when I play, so I don't look up at anybody. I also have, my mind wanders a lot, so like I'll be playing drums and I'll be thinking about like, you know, something I gotta fix in my car or something, so I just try to stay conscious and remember that I'm playing a show. That's about it. Be present. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I think when you're on stage, there's some element of it you're supposed to exaggerate. So try to pretend like you're having more fun than you might be having. I don't know if we do that. No, you guys have seen us. We don't really do that. Maybe John, dude. He likes to ham it up.
Presence is great. Yeah, you guys are great on stage.
Thank you.
What do you hope listeners will take away from you guys?
Let me answer this. Yes, sir. I think that, I mean, realistically, the only thing I would really like to achieve with our music is if we can be somebody's favorite musical artist, like not just locally, like overall, like, you know, we're their favorite band. That would mean a lot to me. I would feel pretty gratified by that. That'll be cool. What about you? I want them to take away, like, well, these guys are so cool, I want to give them a lot of money. Like, I want to buy all their albums for an exorbitant amount of money, and so they don't have to work anymore. That would be really cool if they could take that away from our music.
Just let me know where you guys sell it. I'll do that for real. Like,
we'll send you the PayPal link after this for sure.
I don't got PayPal. Okay.
We stay broke.
We're in high school, man.
We almost sold one album. We'll help you down with PayPal, man.
Yeah, can you set it up for me? Okay. So, are you guys an independent band, or would you consider signing with the record?
We just recently joined Spear and Juice on Pure Chance. And we're going to have... That's not public information. Yeah, I guess it is now. You heard it.
Not the same as any controversial, but when the super band is over in the story of the television maker ran into the super band. They're like entertaining the food and really sorting it out. So the time you new people. That is a good thing you can't find where to go. You are in the radio and the keep super band on and that's special to the super band. What's the real thing? Happened so long since we started trying to remember where it's worth their lives after being stinking straight by laying out in the food station for almost 7 months. Williams was doing some assessments in high school students. He said, I haven't laughed, I haven't sat down, I haven't laid down, you don't have to. You can just close your eyes and float where you are right here. And that's what you feel like stress. That's fine. So we're going to get back on the list in the stress. Thank you for coming. Seriously.
Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Public, and thank you for the investment for the time today and the insight about local music. Streaming local music is your first follower, and you will continue to connect in the 2025 season of community program.
With the Rotational Marianas appear to be hosting Level Back in Florida and Level Vacancy, where we will have special guests from Global Cloud and Pauly Suba. Don't forget to notify Matthew.
Brightside interest rates where we need to be to keep the U.S. economy moving forward. That seems to be the opinion of the Federal Reserve, which is widely seen to be here in study only first coming into January. The federal funds rate stays at the current 4.2% to 4.5%. What do the three prominent forwarders of the firms that said an open market today doesn't make a move? And also Congress has been bringing rates down and the worries that outcome will be something and for more encouraging news than inflation. Some say the job market is stabilizing with the nation's unemployment rate down to 7.8%. The progress on inflation has been harder to combat. There's no shortage of uncertainty about the economy and the electric food. The Federal Reserve appears to want to stand back and watch for a while. For more, check out weekday.com. I'm Mike Henry. If you like what you look at, you know what? I'm going to be too busy. About 7 years ago, we were interested. We didn't do a full couple between 10 years later. Over 900 versus 51. That was just before that. And about a week ago, we started to look at the business over both months and we took it in the open heart of the student. The phone was looking at the call because I don't know. He wanted a business with the rest of the people in the room. So he went to the bathroom. That wasn't the only thing to do. The local train for local bank anything with the screens or losses. He said she's going for mortgages, nothing basic English and something. The some social other people, he was always at night to find it for Christmas and Jim. He said that time 2 days to visit to the area, and after his social, he created a one month saving. No one was not happy to go to the work. He was the same way in the scholar, working in the mortgage. Is that being a good work? And everyone. Solid ground with the way. One of the and following.
These are 20 really good traffic reports here on the Brightside. Continuous space and last summer, we found automatic intersection without this route, and we also get into that intersection without this no-runner or fancy sign. Take traffic on the 15th road, and we all at the intersection, and we decide to change the train. Take traffic on Route 16, we are passing north about a whole by the south, coming up, we're trying to stay the intersection in front of the Guam south. Traffic on Route 3 and identification of drivers and bikes on the intersection on Red Road. Traffic on Route 1 out of northbound at the intersection in front of Governor's Office.
traffic on that area is really nice and cross-going, nice and easy for students and maybe join us tonight, nice snow. And that's what we're going to do for us to go out here on the Brightside. The news and cleaning exception is that I have to yes, but I do not know if the business is to be happening in the future, but I'm going to be and I don't realize that I'm like, if you start to be a host of every important content, and working with the people and the business, you can continue to really go to the opening and say, yes, that I think is different.
Well, welcome back. So I want to see what's happening with journalism class in the country. They're going to be doing this again tomorrow. They'll do another academy takeover. I really love their team on Minnesota. Conversations with teachers. Puts a big smile on my face. One thing we're saying, they did all of this research on their own, right? They came up with the name of their show. They got a hold of the people that they wanted to interview. They show prepped their songs. Basically researched their books as well, so they were prepared when they brought them in. There's other concerns, right? You can tell, and that's really, when it comes down to, talk radio and, frequency reading, the ones that I like the most are the ones where the host is genuinely talking about, okay? They want, not only do they want to know what it's all about within the content that they're either creating or the guests that they're interviewing, but they're also living it too. Those are like the most fun content creators. And I understand that they're journalism and students, but in this day and age, right, journalism and communications and what is available to what kind of jobs could you get into, what kind of content, what kind of platform, media is available to them too. And so when Lincoln directly reached out to me, absolutely excited to open the doors and give them the opportunity to explore talk radio, explore this media, and see if they like it pretty soon. And there is more to it, obviously. There's a technical side of it all, but just them being able to get into this studio, explore this space, explore this medium, now they see that this is this side journalism or content creation is very accessible to them. That they can have a job in this industry through this form. And then also podcasts, I think, too. And it's very much like a podcast, but I think we are able to reach our listeners in other ways, obviously traditional media. And since it is a form of a podcast that can be on the radio, and you can focus, right? Like today, we focused on the music, the music-based games, you know, the driving games, and talked about it. And you can do that. One thing that I appreciate, the one thing that I like about local talk radio is you're not gonna get this. I'm gonna order pizza. And I've grown to love it. Because I'll be honest with you, I was hesitant to be part of it. I actually was very content. Very happy to just be part of it, being with a radio disc jockey, a radio personality. Very content. I'm good with it. But, you know, we pay attention, we pay attention to politics, and pay attention to what's happening around, not just here in Guam, but Northern, Louisiana, right? But always just on the surface level, never diving deep. And so, to learn on the job what it takes to actually do talk radio and do it every day, because it can be it is exhausting when so many times people say it's exhausting, I'm like, welcome to my world. Because, especially if you want to know yourself, then you really gotta dig deep. You really gotta do more than just read a headline. Okay? Because you'll find that the headline isn't the story. And even how much of the story can you tell in a 1-minute read? Or a 90-second read? Or a 90-second, news broadcast story? Well, I don't. So, it's not a knock on news or reading the paper, but I do think people say, oh, the paper got it wrong, or the news on 6 p.m. they got it wrong. Well, to be fair, how can they tell the whole story in 90 seconds? So they can only give you the sound bite. They can only update you in a very short amount of time. And then they gotta go tell another story in a short amount of time. So, in a sense, that is their medium. And it's an important medium because, let's face it, not a lot of people are willing to spend a lot of time on one issue. And the everyday person that is just trying to understand what's going on in their community doesn't read all day. Just tell me. Can you tell me in 30 seconds? Real short attention spans. So, that's the medium of news stories, why it's only 30, 45, 2 minutes, even 3.5 minutes longer than good. But it's set up that way for our purpose. So, that's why if we really want to know what's going on, then we have 4 hours every day. And let's hopefully talk to some people that actually know more than just what is the headline, more than what is in the surrounding. The more people that are willing to talk to us about it, because I'm only as good as my source anyway. Let's do this because we have some audio problems, right? earlier, and so you might not have heard the governor did stand over a statement on the federal parks, and they also sent a video clip. And so it's about 2 minutes long, and then plus we have some technical difficulties. I promise to more in detail what that statement was, and then also some of the other information that we gathered from some of the interviews that I had yesterday, and then some of the interviews that Penny Ryan did this morning, and just a couple other responses too from different places, different leaders, the Department of Defense too has a release, and so we can follow it all in what they do. The first is the governor's statement on the temporary federal parks.
Yesterday, for the good time, I referred to activation some information about what the potential impact is of the executive orders and President Trump in terms of freezing federal grants. And for 5 years, a meeting with directors of those agencies that potentially could be impacted, public health, behavioral health, EPA, Department of Corrections, DA, ASCO, and HIPAA. And so all of them go back and look at what federal programs are exempted and what federal programs are not exempted. And we're getting more information about potential and the consequences of that. I do want to remind people to that we remain status quo as of now. And so I will be giving you more updated information as soon as possible, more up-to-date licenses. And I do also know just the one who once this case is exempted, this program from Medicaid is exempted, Medicare is exempted, Jobs is exempted, child care is exempted, work is exempted, and I think other social service programs. Those grants that directly impact the Americans not included from the executive order. And so we kind of look at the information and do an assessment, we will come back and give you more update on the information. Please, in the meantime, have a business continuing or
there we go. So furthermore, the governor's statement, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia issued an administrative stay helping implementation of the funding freeze until February 3rd, pending further court proceedings. And so, in this release, again, to further state she confirmed that while the situation remains fluid and subject to change, additional information released by the White House and the OMB clarifies that the freeze is limited to programs, policies, and activities indicated by the executive order issued by President Trump in the last week, and will not include programs that provide direct benefits to Americans such as Medicaid, child care assistance, and WIC. And so, again, for further information, agencies and stakeholders are encouraged to stay in contact with their federal grant offices and monitor official communications. So we're actually going to be speaking with the Director of Public Health, and Teresa Luna, a little bit later on in the final cycle. She's going to call in to the study, and we're going to get more information that we can provide, because like Stephanie Flores, the administrator of the Brightside January from yesterday, when I was emailing her, public health is the agency that receives the most federal funding and has the most federal programs. And so we'll get more insight from the director of the public health. Furthermore, though, so the MBJ Guam, that's where I complained, and I didn't want to know many people compiled some of the responses and the information that we were able to gather within 2 days. Federal funding plans to start consuming on the legal time. Guam.com. Again, Matthew J. Bates, the Acting Director of the Office of Management and Budget, was instructed agencies to pause the issuance of new laws to strengthen and improve the funds and other regulations effective January 28 of 2021. Through Moon County, the head of the Andrews American family, he has Suba, the minority leader of the U.S. Senate, the Democrat, that in an instant, Donald Trump has promised billions, perhaps trillions of dollars of directly support states to these towns, schools, hospitals, small businesses, and most of all, American families. So, Governor Lee Longoria, again, adding his comments in her statement, I want to assure our people that as of now, everything remains status quo, following the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia issuing the administrative stay of recommending implementation of the spending freeze until February 3rd. So the U.S. Department of Defense also sent a review fund on January 29th to June auditor, and DOD said in the release was directed by the memorandum. The department will expeditiously analyze the two national assistance programs to identify programs, projects, and activities that may be implicated by any of the President's executive orders. In the meantime, as directed by OMB, DOD said it will temporarily pause activities related to the acquisition and disbursement of financial assistance to the extent permissible under applicable law. The good news is that military construction will not be affected. The scope of the matter does not include contracts. The Department of Defense has not promised contract awards. The Department continues to award new contracts to fulfill validated mission needs. While it was not going to qualifying work, DOD said it is possible that the activities may be passed if they are determined to fall within the bounds of the guidance. Congressman Jim Moylan, who said he wanted us to clarify this morning, was highly aware of that mandatory programs like Medicaid, Social Security, and Social benefits are exempt from the plans. He said it's clear to us that nothing in this directive should be construed to implement Medicaid or Social Security benefits. For now, it's a 2-week pause for these agencies to come back to the President with recommendations on how to align funding with his agenda. Dr. Eric Thompson also spoke with Pauly Suba this morning too, right? And so he said he's part of the National Council of Chief State Sport Officers, and he shared information from his counterparts. He said, at the noon Eastern Time today, our best understanding is that the Office of Budget Memo ordering federal agencies to temporarily close activities related to obligations and disbursement of federal financial assistance will not impact federal formula funds that have already been obligated and awarded in dollars or high, Thompson said. He also said that some of the funding sources for Jubilee, such as the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, or ESEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, also known as IDEA, and other federal education programs should be exempt from the pause. I spoke with Senator Sandra McConnell yesterday, right, and he said that for Israel, he's the chairman of the Guam Public Safety and Emergency Management, right? And so for Israel, he said, specifically the committee that I oversee, is looking at the impact to our public safety agencies. He said it could be people, it could be ongoing projects, it could be facilities, or it could be also procurement. He again said that federal programs need special oversight. And so, the department said we have ATF, we have U.S. Marshal Service, we have the U.S. District Court, we have the State Department's Crime Center, we have the National Weather Service, and we went to the delivery of direct services with our government. Those are the ones that have me just a little more concerned. And so, he said again, policymakers must remain vigilant. The White House said yesterday in an interview with me on Route 105, it becomes still what we may have to address. I think that's something that I think we all, as an American community, should be watching very, very closely. And then another thing that I just wanted to highlight that it shows down in this article is when Lieutenant Governor Johnson I wanted to ensure the people of Guam that the administration will continue to work with Moylan, Congressman Moylan, to safeguard and protect these programs that could be affected. he said, our government exists to help people. We'll fight for them and figure out how to put their interests within this new reality we're all experiencing together. And so, for me, that's kind of what I'm looking for in our leaders one day. You know? This whole statement of, well, what did you expect? I mean, you couldn't be surprised. This is what President Trump said he was going to do. Okay. But here we are today. Did you run for office? Because you wanted to be closer to President Trump? Or did you run for office to assist the people of Guam? And so, when tomorrow says, I want to ensure the people of Guam that we will safeguard and protect these programs that could be effective, when tomorrow says we'll fight for them and figure out how to put their interests within this new reality we're all experiencing, and when he says we'll survive this, and when tomorrow says we have to be prepared for big things coming, and we're going to survive the changes, the people's expectations are definitely going to be challenged at this time. Yeah. We're going to be challenged at this time. And so we look to our elected leaders to help us with these challenges. Dave Green says we have some awesome planning plans to be tomorrow. Well, he says, Pauly, I'm seeing growth in radio diesel music. Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you for spending your money for yourself in 2020. Absolutely, because that's what it's all about. Right? It's about amplifying voices that we don't necessarily need to. Right? And so any opportunity that we get young students, right, from academy, from trying to sound safe, from DFK, from Notre Dame, from CISA or Iowa, and I don't know. But anytime, even young, like, I always have a big smile on my face. When we get even from little ones, from many of them, right? And so Peter O'Reilly, Eddie Allen, they'll bring in many of the tomorrow speakers at the elementary school for the apprentice. It's pretty big smile on my face, right? When you hear from people that aren't necessarily in politics, and any opportunity that I have to amplify the voice of just one individual that is helping the women. I want to do that. There's a number of nonprofit organizations as well that are doing good work in the community. Why do they do it? You know, there are so many passionate people here in Guam doing good work, doing great work. I'm interested. You know, what is it? What is the work that you're doing? Who is it impacting? Why is it important to continue that work? A lot of times, the work is passionate people. I mean, of course it's good. It makes you feel good to do things, I get it. But it can be taxing, and it can be sacrificing, and when you look around, you're like, I feel like it's all on me. But anybody else something else for that stuff? It can be defeating. And so, how do we support them? How do we show them that how do we stop the attitude? Get them on the show. Get them on the show and amplify their voice. Not that it's what I was saying, to be honest with you. Let's see. t-shirt to store on the other side of the 4 o'clock news. The 4 o'clock CBS news. We're going to get again Christine Sinek. Again, the reason why too is I want to continue to do that is because what is at stake? What could we lose by April if there are still people out there that don't know that the former EBT killed, right? And so we want to give an opportunity to protest against the feeling that there is an event coming up this Saturday for our parents and guardians to head on over to GDOE and pick up the former EBT card. And so you don't necessarily you can go to the rental center as well in Toronto. Again, I think it's from I don't have enough room to go back to blog it. The rental building is on the second floor. I'm sorry, where you can pick up the former EBT card is on the second floor of the rental commercial building. Here's the address, 761 South Mancor Drive, 761 South Mancor Drive, 20. Right, and so, again, on the other side of the CBS News, we'll be talking to Christine Sinek, the administrator for the Bureau of Economic Security. We'll see if the number, throughout this week, if that number has been revised to really thousands, too. How many parents or students have not availed of the former EBT card? It's $177 that they can carry. So we'll have that conversation in just a bit. But I see here that there is a release from the Office of Homeland Security and Civil Defense for the high-risk advisory and high-risk work parents and sick each Sunday. And this is also an alert to let consumers know to stay out of the water when the water is still out of the water. The high-risk advisory in effect the work-station race with 1 Luther to noon and 5 p.m. until 4 p.m. Sunday. You've got breaking waves of 7 to 10 feet expected along work-station routes. Dangerous swimming and certain conditions and localized beach erosion are expected if the swimmers could remain out of the water due to dangerous conditions. There's a high risk of risk time to affect the north and east station routes of Guam and 15 and 5 to Sunday afternoon, and risk time can take even the best swimmers away from the shore into deeper water. The grip current do not swim against the current. Swimming in direction following the shoreline face the shore and tall or waves and hurt. Once again, there is a high force advisory and high risk of risk time to affect through Sunday. The high force advisory remains in this area until 4 p.m. Sunday, and then the high risk risk time is in effect in this area as well through Sunday afternoon. 3:58 in the afternoon. Pretty close to the CBS news, right? I don't know. We can either take a break or let's take a break now. Alright, again, like I said, we're going to have Christine Sinek, the administrator from the top on the other side. News, your CBS News, the Radio Sponsored Report, as well as TV1 FM in Guam. So it's confirmation hearing for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to become health and human services secretary with the June committee, and it says the media folks think there's someone on television reads from a letter to speak to the Senate.
Everything that you see in the area is producing people with medical services. Agencies for themselves is potentially worth more than employees. As a new for credibility, you want to find an equal and possible.
Americans continue to battle the future from any other player. They don't believe the technology for people in weight loss was not bringing down risk factors such as high blood pressure and diabetes. So yes, it's just not the first time. It's really calculated. We know how quickly people say that to me. That's some decrease for risk of Alzheimer's. That's the people who are out there. But for the next generation, the people who may have, they want to change it so hard. You're 40% more. You know what it was? We just looked at the motion of 60. The addiction rate was 15%. See, there's a lot of people can work up to really jump on the new picture. When you call, man, it's also the very simple time to look for a baby boom. There's the American people more than 25 positions. Before forward, if you want to 1.122, which is equivalent to some years of the life in war. The people who have the first team of the program that exactly talking the coronavirus. People at universities started dying after flying and then firing from a plane instead of cities. Found four of them, four of them, it was more than all the presidents of Sunday night. And so now Pauly Suba talking as a personal student at teachers' college of tradition. This is thinking of me. Drug companies for resident goods. You could save big when you bundle your own motorcycle and your bike. Visit progressive.com. Never even tried, apparently it doesn't either. The thing is, there are compromises during the Super Bowl this week. But one thing is, I'm going to see the American tournament related to the Super Bowl. This is the Cuba, Peru, the food, and the 75 bracket. I was in the software, and that's what they different. After a 10 years, we have to go down to remember what it's like to work after being stuck in a space on the International Space Station for almost 7 months. We're in the International Space Station healthcare student, and I haven't left, I haven't sat down, I haven't run down, you don't need to. You can just close your eyes and shut where you are right here. And that's the thing, feels like, hey, that's fine. It's not going to get back to the birth on the screen. That's what it's called, studio thing. What's up with the job? What's going on? I'm thinking about it. And you say that as a kind of see? And of course, it's the beginning of the day. That's the beginning. But the market is good. Yeah, you're going to say, well, if you can start to do something, that's nice. That's what you keep it. And we're telling you, and you are from the whole but, oh, that's the great thing. It's not really nice. Get to think of it. And we can know that I'm pretty sure that you need to work on this. When it comes to making friends beyond the other questions that we hope that you will learn this but there's no such thing as a type of You're tuned to the Brightside with Pauly Suba every weekday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Brightside is brought to you by Trinity and Ball, Artsenius, Love, Great Food, and Memories Helping Heal. Group teaching, restart, reviewing, showing Williams, ready to be first start. Showing Williams is coding and selling website sales. Visit us in person Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Text us for the 1-646-8050. Or email your resume to sw@pr.com. Join our team today. Subway is pricing just in clicks. Order online at SouthernPacific.com for pickup at your convenience, or for delivery right on your doorstep. Online ordering at SouthernPacific.com is powered by Get to Go Ready Mobile. That's Subway and better resource to resource. Music camping radio faculty class in the Brightside. Four topics out of Route 2. You can look out and look at the study bus overview. Some focus on that side. Common sense, regular education substitute that activity for personal. Campus traffic on Route 16 and Brightside Bus if you are passing the stop at the Brightside Drive. Heading to the music section and hold the door every time. Four topics on Route 3 and Brightside the passing the BLS and Healthcare heading to the music station and Route 1. Some traffic on Route 1 through the Guam and heading on to the music section and that means that it's not a journal both person. Some traffic on Route 10 is running this is at the music section in front of the Guam Airport. Four traffic on Route 1 being north and southbound to the music section near the John F. Kennedy High School. And that is your radio traffic authority on the Brightside. The Amazon business is supposed to be found on that equity base. If you might have to do something rather than you to please work with and because you can do it with other people. If you come to the place and check on the patient conference, you definitely can do it. You can use the really high time and see and send the video. Brightside January, 105.10 in the afternoon. Do girl, don't girl. We're going to go to Sunrise Dinner. Administrator of our public health to see some of the thank you so much again for hanging out with us. I know. I wanted to see how you guys are doing. Did we get a dent in the 4,200 individuals? Did anybody show up around here for doing the meeting? Yeah, but that's the good news is that's how we have you on the show to continue to push them, right? Okay, so again, if you haven't heard, to please hear some share with us how you can enjoy in their, again, I guess we'll start again, with who is eligible for the summer EDC program, and then how they can enjoy, because they can go to the ranches from 8 a.m. to 4:30, or they can go to another open class over the Recreation Mall from 10 to 18 this Saturday, right? So, can you tell me about a little bit of, have you gone like, have you guys set the time, like the average time for a parent to go to the mall and go to the hotel? Is it still roughly about 15 to 20 minutes? Right.
Mm-hmm. Who would be responsible for the entire supposed to work partnership. So TV and global was like a program could basically based on the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the kids they were children and our goals and publicly distributed to local and charges and businesses distribute crowds and access local benefits. So the public health like really program is because of the public potential.
Yeah. I want to share with you, before I share this somebody's experience, what about the time frame? Does it change when you get arrangement? Is it pretty straightforward there as well? If you were going to arrangement, 15 to 20 minutes? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is the benefit of going to the mall the fact that they have the video room terminal there at the mall, or do you have to have that availability at renting?
That is actually the bonus for the benefit.
Okay.
The video room is on-site workers during those events.
Okay.
And this allows you to get validated recording and then so of course we'll take out the kind of validated information.
And it could be frustrating for the player, right? Because they may not feel like they're getting the win now.
The more partners that we have, right? Then you're maybe in comparison to your business, which is not as sensitive.
I think that's real. Because the players are putting these. You think the visitors at the mall.
So when we did an August was the pandemic agency, usually because some people are really, really long marketing. And then this time, to chemistry and we were doing extremely some person without just telling me to do this with cleaning and cookies to be work. So it was a lesson learned. But the other thing is having it come out. It's the public county, I don't want to get something to work. But, if we're able to go to the parents and the very clear class, it's a mistake time for hours. So your grandma has some, your conditioning, nutrition, you're supposed to put the back in the food first to if you have to do it.
Yeah, that's the way it takes their public health, right? And the director, she seems very important. Because you didn't have to do another event, you don't give it a good amount, you give it over a month, you set up the event at the mall, and you're like, all right, you go spend time, you can go to Ransom. And I believe, because I was referring to on the record, one of these government meetings talking about how there's 4,301 individuals. And so it was important to do another event like this.
We had a good relationship with our partners there, and it's really good for us to get it out. And of course, if that's not going to be the option, but, and it is a long time going, so we'll hallway where the subject is going to move everything coming up. And then, there might be some connections and what so the really kind of push for ourselves, please come on Saturday. Maybe fully done with a data manager or and one day the first they have a pipeline. That was that's what we always expect. But the day after that, the math is really reasonable. So we want to put them together.
And so I got a story to share with you. I started with cases around the PNO. So, somebody reached out and they were listening to the talk about this event. the summer ABC, and so they said they didn't have a very good experience with the commuter too. They had loaded, they didn't load the cards, cars the first 2 times that they were supposed to. And the first time they loaded, they were supposed to load, the time wasn't clear, or too clear, and then just now, this is another one where he is in first grade, and so she was hesitant about doing this, and then so I sent that information to Casey, and then I asked her later on, did you contact him? Because he's waiting, he wants to see how they can address the issue. She said, you know what, I actually, time this went by, I had a lot on my plate, so I just went to the mall, like you said, and spent 5 minutes, got out my student ABC benefits, and she said, they are faster than fast. Well, thank you so much again for taking some time to see the importance of getting the word out. I do as well. I mean, I want to see this number go down, right? It's $177, and we're talking about cost of living expenses and the price of eggs. This will go a long way for those families that have these benefits and just might not normally have it. So this PSA is for you. Sure. Yeah, that's again really good information to share. So if there's anybody listening that might have had a family after the summer, right, relocate to Hafa Adai, I don't know, but this possibly have this benefit waiting for them, and you can email to FEDT Guam at dphs.org if you'll set up an appointment to Zoom and get all of that worked out. Now, because they went to GDOE, they can't avail the card which they went to Oregon, and they go to a public school in Oregon. They can't go to a public health in Oregon and just go there and get a card from their public health. So because they went to GDOE or Guam or Oregon, they're going to have to go to this grant program to get their new card if they need a new card, right? Because they don't have it on their body over there. Because if they did, it would be, it's there. 177 is in their wallet, in that card, right? Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. I appreciate it, because I know we didn't catch on that yesterday. So thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much for seeing our patient. Okay, thank you. All right, and then the email is kids FEDT Guam and dphs.org. You still have it on the wave WhatsApp, don't you, on that? Because I want to feel like maybe maybe you two remember that I was writing negative comments on somebody's YouTube channel 8 years ago. Pauly Suba is not allowed to post ever. It shows that I posted on my end, but it's not showing on your end that I posted it. Okay. There is another PSA. This one's from GTV. So apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently, their discount, even did know, but it's been so long since they just put a note in email that their discount loans are based in savings. And so, for police assistance, through police discount, here are those numbers. These are really good numbers just to have, like rather than a picture on your refrigerator. So police discount numbers are 475-8615. 8615 or 8617. So it's basically 475-8615 through 8617. And then the Delaware precinct, you want to call the Delaware precinct directly, it's 622-9808. 9808. A two-line precinct, 609-6330. 609-6330. A central precinct, 475-8541. 475-8541. And a southern precinct, 472-8915. 472-8915. And then, of course, for emergencies, 911. Let's see here. Before we go over the numbers. Now, one of the other stories today that came out this morning that I was reading, I was tracking a wrestling when I got off, and I didn't realize this, but two commissioners over at the CIPC were fired behind the gun. Marianas, Dr. John Brown, and Mr. Herrera. They talked to the CIPC for a number of issues, right? And so Mr. Jeffrey Brown is basically wondering, did I do anything wrong? You know, what was it that I did that, you thanked me for my service? And now I have to go in. I'm the lawyer, but it's too much for me, right? I can't read it. But, it's unfortunate, too. It's unfortunate. So, what I know about the Danish issue is that the governor has been trying to get him on for 2 months to get him to be part of the CIPC. And speakers oversees the CIPC in the 47th Guam legislature, right? And so, basically, the governor was frustrated, saying, put it to a vote. Let the legislature decide. Put it to a vote. Start voting this up. Because they're holding up the work that the CIPC is doing. And then, so I basically said, I just think it's funny how, the government wants to put herself into the rule of the legislature, but we're overstepping when we call the government. So, eventually, the government gets put on the board. The government is now on the board. I will say there are a number of issues. So, the CIPC has been facing controversial issues. And the Lake Park is one. The Guam International Country Club donates a transit to Black Park to the transfer of the impact point and property from the CIPC over to the Forest Family, and then Roy Gamboa, who is the deputy director of the road, has now been is now the one that the governor is designating to be the director of CIPC. Now, in the meetings, I didn't know exactly based on what I'm watching these meetings. You know, I remember it was pretty long, right? I didn't get that the donor was totally against the idea of any of those two. One could say that she was making it difficult for the race rate. But 500 a month? I'm glad that is nothing with 500 a month. For that reason. And so, also, there's still questions about the Guam International Country Club wanting to transition to a civil center. Right? And so, again, when the Guam International Country Club representatives showed up to the last PCB, they're like the Delaware Municipal Planning Committee voted in favor of them. But when you don't, because I was there, when they did one, but the most recent Municipal Planning Council, those councils said there were at least 3 of them that weren't there when the vote went down. And so at the most recent Delaware Municipal Planning Council meeting, where Melissa Aguirre and you can also, because she'll tell you what happened, but she was the one overseeing it. Those council members said, if we had known what we know now, we wouldn't have signed the resolution. I didn't even sign it because I wasn't there. I didn't say that. And then I just asked for the attorney too. Let's get the OG. Let's figure out, how we can do this legally. Can it be done legally? They're asking their legal advisor how to move forward with the transfer of land from the CLTC back to the premises. And it's not big on the premises. The parents are an amazing family. They're doing well. But you fix that thing. Because this is CRPC land right now. We're going to give government land back. We're going to give government land with no compensation. So now they have to draw it out. Now they have to really think about it. These are controversial issues. Extremely controversial. So yes, take 4 hours. Take 4 hour meetings. We'll figure these controversial issues out in 20 minutes. And on top of that, they still have to listen to the people that are trying to get their land back. And then also, some of these other bills that have become law, talking about these legal trials. How did you get that? Oh, you got CRPC land? But how come you have a house on it? It's only supposed to be for agriculture. I don't know these things are controversial. And I'll say on the record, I really appreciate what you're doing for fighting for the people. Because I didn't see it any other way. I didn't see them doing anything other than fighting for the people. Bill Williams was saying Mr. Gamboa was the deputy director of agriculture. Did I mention that? He's a deputy director of, maybe I said it wrong. No, he was a deputy director, but he's not up for director for tomorrow morning. I'd like to know what happened to Noble Flyers. I don't know about that. I told him 6 in the afternoon we'll take the break right when it's live. These are kind of good to see in the country. What controversy is that a book from any people in Islam? It has been serious. It many professors and schools. The money to operate spiritual systems. The people participated with cases for the Florida. The student consumer, the living student. Their studies put into the system, looking for people from the Republic, while considering for one purpose. To have places for association and witness for inappropriate material. Such as is from where in higher education, from the school setting. Everyone the restaurant wouldn't mind up there at the time if they wasn't really putting on the person who's familiar with the room until they were simply a principal on the day. Rather than spending the time 11 years to learn the students, she's expected to spend only 1 year there because an interactive bargaining agreement with a hefty salary review is expected to take effect in 2026. Microsoft Times, CBS News.
Now for closing removal traffic report here on the Brightside. Slow traffic on Route 8 is all good over 140 and 50 near the fire station. Slow traffic on Route 16 and Federal intersection near the post office on the Guam National Bank. Slow traffic on Route 16 and Boulevard Hills if you're approaching a Mexican Boulevard town, heading to the construction in Central, Guam will be tight. Slow traffic on Route 16 to come from Liverpool heading to the construction near the Hafa Adai Brightside. Slow traffic on Route 1 and Delhi North and southbound at the intersection event in the service for 38. Slow traffic on Route 1 heading north and southbound at the intersection near the Hafa Adai Brightside. And that is your real day traffic report here on the Brightside. They do the road asking the spread and the back of the road. They do the road welcome back to Brightside. We're going to go to the phone lines because I was talking earlier to Mayor Data, the mayor of Merca, going to Merca, and I wanted to talk to him a little bit about the things that could be, well, the
work that could be happening for Francisco Key Santos Elementary School, right? And so there's a bill that is out to appropriate $3.5 million for fiscal year 2025 general fund revenues collected in excess of the budget level in Public Law 37-123 to the Guam Conservation Trust for the purpose of the rehabilitation of the historic Francisco Q. Santos Elementary School. And so I wanted to get Mayor Bada in because I wanted to ask him the significance, the historical value of F.C. Santos Elementary School. And so thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with us here on Wave 105. Hey, Mayor Bada. Good evening. And so I wanted to ask you the significance of F.C. Santos, right? Because there's a bill out, right, that would appropriate $3.5 million on top of, so that way we can get the construction moving over there. Yeah. And so, can you share a little bit of the significance of the school and the historic value? What does it mean for the market? Oh, wow. You're the mayor, right? And so what are the people of the market envisioning for F.C. Santos? Oh, wow. I mean, it's right across the street, right? Yeah. That goes through the meetings over to the municipal planning council or with the residents all together in a public forum? Okay. And so usually I set up the agenda right for the council meetings and set up like a public forum, put it on the agenda so they all know to go and share their vision as well and see how we can all be forward so we can talk. All of that information, right, and then comment? Yes, I have a specific, but that would be things to ask if I wanted to have a charter school and something. Okay. For the community, a lot of people into for a charter school out there. The building, I think people coming to check with the meals, to be able to work, and I really appreciate it, but if you want to come and join the meetings that we're having, people can do what you have to say, you know? Absolutely, right? Because again, like you said, it has to accrue funds, right? And so they'll probably pay rent. Yeah. So what we put next to me right now, people Yeah, I mean, there's so much history in Humboldt, right? It's such a beautiful village. Like when you're going down the road, it's like entering into getting into the what do you call it, the time machine and going back into time, you know? And it's beautiful. How the whole thing is set up. It's just and how you've been continuing to keep the maintenance on it, even the Spanish Grove and the Fort Soledad and then Oxford Sanchez is part of that one.
Yeah, then you're out there, the promoter coming out there, there's this goes into that Guam and security and local truck. How did they get at the 2728, 142, the start of the promoter?
Oh, really? In February, so we're not even ready to come out. Okay. Okay.
So, you know, that people come down, they see the school, you know.
Right.
That's nice, you know, for the people who want to see that it's being really renovated.
Yeah, it's really nice to just see that the legislature sees the importance of it, with the introduction of another bill to appropriate $3.5 million in excess money. Obviously, we want to get the excess money, but if the bill becomes law, then, you know, that's $3.5 for that project. And just seeing that there are senators that have co-sponsored the bill shows that they're, you know, that they're behind it as well. So they're not, you know, too many times we say that our southern bill is getting neglected. I wanted to ask you real quick because him now, he's a regular caller, he's been here on, and he was saying that there's a few people that he believes are homeless in Guam. Are you seeing homelessness, people experiencing homelessness in the market? No, not there. Yeah. What about illegal dumping?
If they're going to throw trash, and I rather see them throw trash, and that's them that I got down there, than into this side roads. But I don't think I could speak to us what's doing it, because we saw it with some trash, and every day we got it, so they would have some trash, so maybe I'm going to try, that's about it. So what they're trying to do is we're trying to put solar lights in the trash, or put a gate where they can go in at night. I never do it late at night. And it's not a fan of the maybe from the floor of the way it's you know, it's not a fan of this area. Down here, the place, there are people taking grass and putting it down at the dump. And the real people that I think are doing it. And when they party, they clean out the road. That's how many people are.
It's so surreal, to be honest with you, when you're down there barbecuing and enjoying the place, because that's exactly the Magellan monument is there, and you do the historic reenactment every year, and so, you know, this is where, you know, the first meeting between Samoans and Europeans, you know, interacted. On that very spot.
So, you know, like I said, the biggest town here, we don't like that. You know, there's a lot of things that people down there do to, you know, and, you know, they do a lot of conspiracies here and everything. So I don't see anybody this way. I don't see anybody staying outside and going anywhere to really do it. There's no time for that.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you is whether people squatting and see any proof of evidence of people squatting over that too, but obviously not.
No.
Okay. So you're not experiencing any issues with anybody vandalizing that too, or utilizing it illegally or anything with this program? So the maintenance that you're doing is just actually just making sure that the jungle doesn't take the building over. Yeah, okay. Okay. Right. Yeah.
So that's the beauty of the field on the top. So, you know, they're doing a lot of things up there and they're trying to fix it as good as possible because we're close to the cold water. So, you know, the rebounds and
yeah. Another thing I was talking to Senator Parkinson, who's the main sponsor of the bill, especially when he's on the PLC, right? For the construction, the continued construction. And he was saying that you also, you know, it could be another landmark that tourists stop and enjoy. So, wow.
So that's what we're thinking about the people, what's one of the people who are real. The whole people that used to make back in
yeah, because
the Guam section down, you know, the Marianas, the beach, and then we have the the mayor, you know, the two things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, started from the senior citizen, and that's what we're doing now, is doing what they used to do.
Wow. Because there's one thing that the market is not, it is not a pass-through village. That's a stop every time village.
The first thing about was at the table with our first stop the weekend.
Yeah. And this weekend, because the Taiwan visitors are here, right? Celebrating Lunar New Year. Did you notice more tourists? And social event over the weekend?
I'm so busy performing with working school. I'm not a big person, but I see a lot of things popping on the office.
Yeah.
I'm like the forest and something, but I go up and get back. I see a lot of things where I work around. I'm just too busy. You know, looking at the picture when I was working on the weekday.
Yes, we do, and you know what party on too. Great catching up with you, and fucking in and getting more things from the man from down south. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'll take you up. I will not forget it. We'll be down there. Definitely cover it. It's good. Okay. You as well, man, brother. I guess. All right. All the time is up, so let me just, if you are just tuning in, I have another interview, so we're going to get to the break real soon, but in case you're wondering, what are we talking about for me? So, I forget what day it was, but we were talking, I think it was Monday. We were talking with Senator Parkinson because I wanted to get more insight on this bill here introduced 40 to 48. The co-sponsors are Senator Pauly Suba, Junior Blank, and Madison. And again, it would appropriate $2.5 million through the restoration and renovation process of Ocean Franchise Elementary. And so what they found out was, even though $3.5 million was appropriated to the Ground Preservation Trust for the purpose of renovating and revitalizing the historic former Ocean Franchise Elementary School, construction costs have gone up since they appropriated $3.5 back in March of 2022. So we need another $3.5 this time around to finish the construction. All right, time around in the afternoon, we're going to take a break. On the other side. We will get in the conversation the Director of Public Health, Teresa Loyola, because again, I wanted to hear from her on how it ended, because now we hear from the governor that there is a pause on the pause, because the court judge in D.C. in the U.S. District Court has put a pause on the president's pause of federal programs and funding. But if it does move forward, what have they found, and how are they addressing the concerns during the action that no one knows? And we'll talk to the Director of Public Health next. We are teasing on that front. We need to go. I'm not going to say much more with you there, telling the U.S. Senate not to confirm his season. One of those candidates, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary of Qualified, but Marcus is personal. He's reading on social media the letter she sent to the Senate. It continues to be it's been conversation with you. The family is willing to experience a human services and tragedy. It is putting forward the American services. Another Kennedy company, one of representing Patrick Kennedy, Pauly Suba, and a Washington company. The Federal Reserve will continue to pay back public and other $1 billion of the technical interest expenses against the business analyst James Crawford will find the inflation rate is still running better than the forward debt, about 2.9%, above the Fed's target of 2%. The second most known for sustainable interest rate, their 10-year continues to expand at a solid pace. In health and state continuing fascination with putting up his living gas and the Trump administration is doing things differently than the Biden administration. Which happens to us to the U.S. officials. How would you very hard to do this in very places? How would you enforce that to the U.S.? Sure. Everyone can follow the industry cameras, clearly figure out who exactly this costs, who are the other thing of reasons for that, and what is actually like now to be a social facility. Tier 1 can programs of that stuff, but we did see some concern that they were running for the action for some medicated websites where they can find from several places across the country. Attention parents doesn't follow the review requirements. They're expected to increase another 20% of community subscriptions for their children enough to conduct those things. Well, the school parents are dying and having a free on it. We're going to go through practice with a more worse than anything we can have a place nationwide to do the innovation of persons from God. So there's a beautiful thing. Well, that's why we're going to turn on the first time just outside of the children and children who are in the later form of the COVID-19 pandemic and the little improvement in life relative to the students that are still being. This is CBS News. People running on the picture are your tax needs. The picture for this meeting first from the professional tax people at a very old price. I'm very grateful to Jennifer Stewart, of course, now. What information and on your book file communication in this time?
It has infuriated many professors and students, allowing to operate simple systems. But this is what the State University System of Science and Project Study of Economic Students has started studying how its textbooks looking for anti-Semitic material, while conservatives have warned us. School curriculum weekday for inappropriate material, such as scraping has been raised in more entertainment to consider to be a thing.
And then they will start picking riots to make the time with the right of agreement according to the Constitution with the agreement will be closer to protocol agreement. One has proven to be over national state, so the fact that the foreign only one will be able to develop collective bargaining agreement with a active primary intent is expected to take effect in 2022. That's what this is. CBS News.
Good afternoon, it is 5:08 p.m. and it's time for basketball Mondays. Mondays have something new on the menu, the mushroom bacon seafood. Friday recipes including salads made with juicy beef, crispy apple with smoked bacon, savory roasted mushrooms, roasted cheese, and clean-baked spring onions with toasted bun. Cheese Mondays.
Part of a family business is a yes, is on the back, and cultivating the back, or through API levels, and speaking to stuff, the business, the freedom, and the things that they believe that nothing matters. Again, without the backbone and failure. Think about failure. Creative notions of that. Go through reading. Start thinking about it.
The background is brought to you by Trees and Bar, Upgrade, More Life, Great Food, and Memories Within You. GCA Roots Sun with You. Marianas is coming in for the next summer. Applying paper need to find an email to Cyclone, Hafa Adai 716-8050, or email your resume to sw@pr.com. Subway is working just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience, or for delivery by any doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com is followed by good to go and deliver. It's Subway, getting you first to be first. Now that time for the real day traffic report here on the Brightside. The traffic and vaccines. There's a large traffic and this is bound and city to the overload. The traffic elements for Marianas Mississippi between the two parts on the Brightside. More traffic on that front side of South Carolina and this is not the other open and together. So traffic on that front side of South Carolina to the intersection that is Marianas Road. More traffic on that far and from Marianas the cars have gotten out heading to the intersection near the Carnival Station. Some traffic around from the Marianas to the heading to the intersection near the Ferry Station. Some traffic on that being Denver to Passenger Drive to Baltimore heading to the intersection near the Marianas. More traffic on that on Denver northbound people are heading to the intersection that is Baltimore City or near the Flea Market. More traffic on that one to Marianas to head northbound to the intersection that is Savannah County. Some traffic on that one to head north and South Carolina to the intersection and near the Dallas Kennedy High School. And that is the radio traffic report here on the Brightside. And then the computer is tracking the vote of the vote. If you have necessary information to bring the community management group, you can go back to the community or any of that. As we come to my phone, the person is looking for the community, voting for the community, this is the community, the community, the
welcome back. The very cool right here. We have all 5 cars in the afternoon. Over to the 5 o'clock rush hour here. We have the direct on the line? We'll wait for her to call in. The director of public health, again, reached out to the PRO to know of citizens how they see how they're addressing the issue of the public health. Again, getting a response from Stephanie Flores, the state health administrator. She had mentioned that the agency that receives the most federal funding is the Department of Public Health and Social Services. When I looked into, some of the federal programs that are available, or some of the federal programs that are within DPS and federal funds, that they receive funding from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and they also through the same U.S. Department of Health and Human Services through CDC. They also receive from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the U.S. Department of Interior. And so I'm sure the director is addressing these issues, right? And so, and still knowing that there is still some unknowns. And whatever information what they have found, what programs can be impacted, what we do know, and so what gives us some peace of mind to do is SNAP is not affected by it. Medicare is not affected by this product. And again, the federal programs again, based on the release of emails from the governor around 1 p.m. today, the programs that we're looking at, Medicaid, SNAP, Child Care Assistance, and WIC, those programs are not going to be affected. And then, also on the statement from the governor, is that the temporary paused federal grant loans and financial assistance programs have also been paused as well. So there's a pause to the pause because of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, D.C., has issued an administrative stay halting implementation of the funding freeze until February 3rd of this year, pending further court proceedings. It's reading on from the governor as of 1 p.m. Move on along. I'm doing well. Well, come on, sir.
I just wanted to make a recommendation.
Yeah.
I know that the recording and the news and everything that we can set the quality of the department is looking at that. I've been looking this morning on the medicine and still looking for the field. As well as what? Can we just get it from one reliable source? From one person of the government or a congressman or something like that that can report to you guys if you guys know exactly what is being said, what is still good to go, and so forth and that. And then so now and work and what we kind of think is still good to go. Medicare, well, because that came from the government side. This morning just for the rest. But getting at this council, maybe it's to report to the government and let the government know what's the question about our medical. What's that? So people are not confused. At least can listen to one person and let them give them the right information because who knows? And if he decides to say something, and the government gets something out of people, and she tells you guys, and you can folks, then who are the people going to believe? So we're investigating said to my Marianas, and kind of brought me to the man, this is what these little programs are going to be effective. Okay, and so I thought. And so for my friends, at most times, the rest of the house and go out and do some stuff, and go find out the right balance for the people that in the States to work for, and just, you can go back and go out and go over to Guam and get, you can go very fast and make money, that's correct.
He was down with the governor, he was on with Pauly this morning, so he was here on the phone. As it appears that nothing in this directive should be considered to impact medical and social security benefits, and that's the previous thing. The governor said the same thing. So I'm not getting any conflicting information.
And everybody goes against what they have to do. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, yeah.
They can't be I understand. So basically, from one source, one of the other source, it's either the governor or the congressman. Those are the people that someone thinks that if you live there in your country like that, then you can say you learn from the government. Over from that. She puts up her own information that she gets from you for their constituents that she's telling in the state. But yet, you get the wrong information, they can't provide to her. People put the information after you on to you guys on the radio, and it's all wrong. And then we're going to ask you, I can say that when the government when you get that information that you're studying wrong, why don't you put that out? You should have confirmed with them first to make sure that if anything that's going to be put out is going to be what they do, check.
Now, before I set up this interview yesterday, he said he needs to come on today. And so, maybe looking to you right now and be like, I know, and that's all I need to tell me. What will be wrong with that kind of thing?
I'm just making sure that what's in the news, it's actually going on, and all the good stuff that comes out on the media, and stuff like that. Because it may not apply to us too, but some of them might apply to us too. Not all of them. So, I might be going out and I'm looking at the videos, they're coming back, and then I'm coming over to see what kind of questions. It's just how it's done, right? So, someone does qualify that. What does it mean? To put together everything, to put together everything, right?
According to the governor, it's that's good. No, that's from everything remains the same.
Okay, so then, a lot of people in the military, anything status is just a different thing. It's a vote. It's a vote.
Yeah, we're keeping the honesty. There is no power.
There's no power. But, for the renovation, maybe I want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
News people within the drop of a dime, and then all of a sudden, that's how news stories die. News stories die because things have changed.
And then by the time I go to sleep tomorrow, on Sunday, then I'm going to go to long around, you must have found out about the details. Then what? I go back to the college.
No. But really, I understand the governor, I don't know if the governor wants to come in and give us some information on the way to.
That would be the best. The people trust the people that they elected. So they're still coming from one person, not from different department heads or saying, you should go over to run to the government, so trust everybody. The government, the organization should go to them and look at something. And then they should be able to request a congressman or congressperson to verify that information on them. So that we get the up-to-date information. Like I said, right now it's good. If it's got a science code, so we can back 20 years ago, and then 6 hours from now, the voting rumor was incorrect, I don't want to know, then those got to go back to the presidential executive order. That's what I'm saying, that it's just to give that information to what we expect. And let them put it out.
Yeah. I'll take the information. If you're representing an agency, I'll take the information where we can get it for sure, because what good is information if you just voted? And so I'm asking the fact where this bill on the other side of you reading this to make a couple of announcements as well. I would think the superintendent that you might be too busy. So, like I said, I'll take that. I'm always running the stick, so. Okay, you too, man. Okay. So let's go to Lindsay's journal of your video. You're certainly something that didn't have an opportunity to look at it. I mean, I've been over at 7 months. Wow. Yeah. Yes, please. What was how did the Southern United Prison Hospital, did they get a today, or did they just practical dispenser? Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate the time of you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Let's see. Absolutely, with what Ernie was saying. I do worry about that person. I don't want to be putting a lot of information. That's the only thing I want to do. But also, like I mentioned, you try to set these things. So that's why we are looking to make it clear. If we have the information and then we don't give it out because we're waiting to see if things have changed in 4 hours, that's the dilemma. Do we withhold the information because it could change in 4 hours? We could do that. But this is my job too. So if I have information is still on there, and then if it changes, we'll update you. And then also with a 4-hour clock there, it's annoying to hear me talk the whole 4 hours. And so I really enjoy getting in there and having them talk to us and providing us information later. And so I told the governor, because I agree, I said the same thing yesterday. I don't want to talk to the PIO. I want to go to the governor themselves. I want to hear from them into the system, right? But again, I'll take a PIO. I'll take somebody within the agency that can play whatever information they have, when we can have a full conversation on the radio for our audience to learn something, to gain information, and do with it what they do. So with that, we wanted to get into public relations or whatever. And so I was calling in and he said he's confused. And I have to say why, because a lot of the information that's coming in on this call is new information constantly. And so I said carefully with you, director, because I don't want to put on misinformation. I don't want to misguide the audience. And so, whatever your directive is, can you share it with us and with our audience pertaining to the federal programs cause? Now knowing that there was a pause to that pause. My posters there. I'll go to the room. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, whatever, because I want to explain for you, so I'm moving it forward.
this thing was really nothing other than fun. There's nothing much to say because there are no specific directives of any, there's nothing in writing that says we're talking about this program is no longer existent and you are no longer about to exist. So after that, things are good, things are going on, and things are status quo.
Thank you so much for clarifying a lot of that and reassuring on that too, right? Exactly what you're saying and coming from the governor and his statement and the same time to me and then also through the press release, right? So when Stephanie first responded to my questions yesterday, she had mentioned that public councils group ABC that received the most of the funding. That section is, that report's still correct, right?
Absolutely. We're one of the largest agencies for Department of Education, and we get huge and so now we have not done any official notice that any of the grants have been canceled or discontinued. So after that, you have to see what's happening. After that, my son is still hard at work. So I kind of want to separate into the fact that long-term concerns are still ongoing, and there's no indication that it's going to be stopped or anything of that nature. I think so. If I can separate into telling the people again what they're told, DOE students, the day students that have not protect their P24 class, that this Sunday is the last Saturday they can do it at the marketing drama. If they couldn't make it to marketing drama, then they're going to come to offices at our building in Samoa, where we'll be sitting under it. So this Sunday, marketing drama starting at 8 p.m. We're looking at about the remaining number of snake calls for church who have not received it. Why is this very concerning? Because I'm not sure the picture is shown that there's a lot of folks that have not received the parents, which means they're not moving forward. And in addition to that, there's an over-dollar to spend the money. So the 22,000 families that just were voted in December, there's indication that not everybody is spending the money. So that tells me two things. Either they don't know to pick up their parents loaded up, and that they have money. So I really need to get the word out. If you have EBT smartphones for your kids, check your phone out. You might have been loaded up money in December, and you need to spend that day doing it. That April deadline, if people don't spend their money by April, it won't be spent for it. So, I don't think anybody wants to get that $10 to food.
Yes, the Chief Nicholas was wrong with us in the Southwest Island shared a lot of important information. And I'm very grateful to your department and also to Christine for coming on every day up until Saturday to show this information.
The concern is, with the showing up here, especially every week, push off the channel to pick it up. There's been some overtime for my staff. I judge personally that we're spending overtime, and I've done every effort to ensure they won't get that. Now, there's no guarantee that there's going to be a work for people in salary for the vaccination now, but at least we can demonstrate that we're at home. We make it look the same to spend overtime because my folks working on a Saturday, because we got to do that every day. We did it. So please, if you're a parent of a student that wants to do there, or Department of Education, you can go as far as you go for the weekend, and the nice barbecue, but the whole intent is for children to eat. We need to make sure that our kids are not eating for the barbecue. So, please, everybody, find out and look for those guys.
Well, I'd like to appreciate this time and also sharing with our audience, again, reassuring the people who grow that everything is self-free.
Special indication that any of these programs are going to be started. So, the construction is key. Apply and apply. Make sure you can know where your documents and get it done right away. So, I appreciate all the work that you do to get the word out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pauly.
And it's a good evening, everybody.
Thanks for the availability. I appreciate it.
You can start doing your work. Thank you so much.
I think the nominating afternoon is again a statement from the governor, which the director of public health reaffirmed this statement. The ongoing Federal administration continues to monitor the situation closely, remains in contact with federal agencies. We will provide timely updates as more information becomes available. And I ask the people in Guam to remain calm as we conduct an assessment. This is from Governor McGrail, which only the director of public health reaffirmed. So for further information, agencies and stakeholders are encouraged to stay in contact with their respective federal grant offices and monitor official communication. Well, 5:39 in the afternoon, we ready to take a good break. Speaking of being for a favorite whole casino report for a while, one controversy involving Brightside January in Florida. The medical professionals in Florida are wanting to operate social profession. Officials with the Cleveland Workers System of Florida, which educates families in the middle of Florida. Your students studying college teachers, looking for instrumental material, while for serving for town practice, making sure students in Wickham for inappropriate material. But one year from there, we look at the future for the conformity stage. Even though the work is really long, we're trying to find what's in the room. Really important to our opportunity to do this in the entire social and classical industry. Ryan has spent her entire 11-year career at Phoenix. He's expected to start only 1 year ago because of international brother interview with a teacher far in the base is expected to take effect in 2026. Michael McClellan, who do you want to be?
Now that's one figured out the real time traffic approximately on the Brightside. Slow traffic on Westland Town and Common Progress after construction of that located position. Slow traffic on Uptown Marianas, April and Tuesday and Santa Cruz with a short community construction that was moved for this speed. Other traffic on Rockland and Colorado between Subway westbound, heavy construction in the Florida station. Slow traffic on Rockland and Denver to Pasadena, PA to Baltimore, heavy construction on Route 1. Heavy traffic on Route 1 in Denver to Woodley westbound. The construction stops on the traffic street on the northbound to begin construction. Without into Route 26 to Second Avenue. Slow traffic on Route 1 into the Homeless City of Ohio, heavy construction on the Central Street. Heavy traffic on Route 1 to crossing the Richmond Beach Park in East Ohio, heavy construction in Moving North in West California. Slow traffic on Route 1 is running to Vinny southbound to the intersection, without into Route 1. Heavy traffic on Route 1. Route 1 is running to follow making a way to the intersection on Route 1. Slow traffic on Route 1 is running within 25 minutes of construction, Route intersection from Beaverhead and northbound to the intersection, that is the Route 1. Heavy traffic on Route 1 is running from the intersection on Route 1, heading to the intersection in front of the Florida Airport. Slow traffic on Route 1 is coming from the intersection and that is Route 14 after 2 hours, heading northbound to the intersection, and that is Route 16 heading to Bangor and Airport. And that is the last road report here on the outside. Some good news here regarding DOT driver's license and filming mainstream abroad. The applications are resuming tomorrow, Thursday, January 3rd. The final hearing will be for the first includes the mental persons with disabilities. And veterans, consumers are reminded that priority services only to those who are legally deemed priority. Consumers with scheduled appointments or who were issued a certificate from earlier this week are asked to please see the DIED customer service representative at the front door before lining up. After the priority line and customers with scheduled appointments or previously issued tickets and tickets, recommend consumers will be serviced. Unlike previous months, DOT is not limiting the number of locked-in consumers. Consumers will not be on the way at the beginning of the day. So all locked-in consumers may remain in line if they choose to do so. DIED will have different lines based on the type of service being requested. Express services and all other services. Express services offer those who want to renew or replace their current Guam driver's license IED. Do not have any changes to new information in their current driver's license or identification. And you are willing to wait 7 to 10 days to pick up their new license or identification. Make an appointment to retake the written test and pick up a previously approved permit, driver's license, or identification.
to Guam driver's license or identification, new driver's permit, or scheduling a first or weekly driver's test. DRED suggests consumers do not line up before 7 a.m. DRED will open its doors at 8 a.m. and will allow customers to remain in line if they choose to do so. Consumers are encouraged to use the online portal that's myIDGuam.com. Many of them more here, talking about the driver's license and identifications online. You can always go to DougBrownBox.com to get more information on the initial requirement for renewals or replacement. That's DougBrownBox.com. There's a clarifying number. Make sure it says open after 5 p.m. Give it to you, 671-627-1840, 627-1840, 1841, or 625-7651, 625-7651. Then, good news. The driver's license examination grants to resume operations tomorrow, Thursday, January 3rd. I think the only thing that I saw, of course, was not a question, but I'm going to be patient. Consumers, the word consumer. I want to use customer. Because when you use the word customer, it's like a mindset. Like these are your customers. So when you say customer, it really puts the term for how you treat people. Not for consumers, but, I think of consumers like sometimes in the body, consumers are like, I know it's a government agency, but they're your customers too. You're providing a service. Very vital service too. I just like the term. There's nothing wrong with the government taking their mission and that mission statement. That the people that come to our doors are our customers. And then, it sets the tone for the whole operation, there might be, this, let's just say, there's this one sort of employees everywhere, not just in the government, right? But it just sets the tone of your leadership is letting everybody throughout the business or the government agency, they know the people that are working for the jobs are customers. And that's just like a universal word or phrase of, treating the person that comes in, providing them customer satisfaction. Because when I think of customer, I think of, customer satisfaction. I think of the phrase, the customer is always right. With that said, the customer is not always right. But, again, the customer is right. Customer and consumer. It's the tone that we're putting through. Laura says, often say today, very informative information and the ALRG guests. They're going to be back tomorrow. If I don't know where it is, Jamie is in town, so all seniors, they will be back tomorrow to do another 1 hour show. It's coming about 2:30. Obviously, going to get them here. It's a drive from Academy to here. And they're basically having class. That's what's happening. They're utilizing the time that they normally would be in the classroom. They're having their journalism class right here, which is, it's just an honor. It's an honor to be part of their learning experience. So we will be back tomorrow from 2:30 to 3:30. We've got a learning set of guests. And what they are, they're going to be interviewing entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs on their level too. Because they will be interviewing the winners of junior achievement. That's what I'm going to have to hear. From there, I'm heading over to the competition, because that's where the work ceremony is for junior achievement. So we've been having junior achievement in quite a while, right? Yeah. So Josh Miller is the director of junior achievement. He's been bringing in this month and even last month. December, November, yeah. It's been fun learning about junior achievement and what the whole program is all about, and how it helps the students give them more insight on what it takes to start up a business from ground level and then be mentored by business executives, junior executives, and someone who's very prestigious companies on this area. And so the award ceremony is tonight. And so that's what I'll be having. They're going to announce the winners of junior achievement. And then tomorrow, the company is already going journalists and friends are going to be interviewing the winners tomorrow. So that's just forward to tomorrow's pretty soft as well. We're going to be getting Make-A-Wish Foundation's going to be coming in, and they've got their gala coming up, so we'll have them in the field to talk about the gala. And then Congressman Jim Moore is going to be joining us on. So he's obviously got a very busy schedule, right? He's working on and then now all of the things that are making with the executive orders. So we're going to have him calling in. So we'll be calling in to the show at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So we've got a lot to look forward to for tomorrow's show as well. We're on the show with Joe Maris. He's on the way. How's it going, Joe? Hey, so yeah, you're on the radio. Yeah, we're on a few more minutes and then we're going to take the break, a 30-minute break. And bed talks in here. Uncle Johnny and Uncle Bobby, they're going to be in here doing bed talks at 6:30. What's on your mind, Nick? Yeah. It's Wednesday. I hope so. Because you were not something like that. Did you name him yet? Did you name the doctor? Did you get a name? Is that okay? Well, if you knew that you were upset with him. I thought you were talking about the play. I was talking about the play not so much. Okay. It's not really going to have some, yeah, I was going to say, what's up? Yeah? I'll try it. Because I don't need to try to, maybe twice a month, because it's not readily available. So if I see what I have from, it's just, it's just one of those things you're looking at and not like it, but also if I never forgot on when, there's no reason it's not taking the plane, but if it is, if it is available, if somebody says, oh, that's the problem, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to run. And then just call out the gun. When the gun is ready to go, it's ready to go. Finally, something's up for them. Yeah, well, the first time working 20 minutes, so if they got there and go and try to be part of the show, right? I think, yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't think you're going to come to here, make some more days, and make some more for that time, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Bobby. They're out here, they're ready to go 6:30 for Denver anyway. In the meantime, we've got some really cool late night music to get you prepared until 6:30. And then tomorrow we'll do it all over again, right? 1 to 2, rolling again. From 6 to 10, it's Thursday, so that Thursday's pretty stacked too. Junior is at the Brightside show from 2 to 11. The University of Guam Sustainability Wave. Is on from 11 to 12. And then anything on the back for another Brightside on Thursday right here. And it's not a brand for Wave 105. Everybody get ready safe, be kind to each other,